Squad-wise, first of all, the 21 shows very small changes. Is that a conscious effort, or is that just you don't have the scope to make changes?
No, we just don't have the scope at this moment in time. There's some lads that are on near the squad, but it's the younger end that are on the sort of 19, 20, 21, 22 numbers. So yeah, it's where we're at the moment. The boys that are fit are the ones that are in the 21.
And in that 21 is Tiny Mill, who is not long off a plane. What are the chances of him getting on the pitch?
Yeah, very slim. But while there's a chance, it's one of those where we decide as a coaching staff that, as you said before, slim pickings at the moment. So in a case of, if there were a slight chance that we could get him on the field, it'd be great to put him in there. But he has literally just landed off the plane, and he's also still in his rehab stage as well. So it wasn't just a case of him going home for the birth of his first child and looking after his wife, which the club were excellent in supporting. He's been really good in the stuff that he's done over there. He's been sending us dailies, videos, but he had a knee clean out at the end of last year. So it's been a case of not only him going home, but a case of him actually continuing his rehab and making sure that's right. So we've got to get a check on him and make sure that the knee's stable and making it and it's going in the right direction.
But you've said slim chance rather than no chance. So what would need to happen to see him out on the pitch on Friday?
Probably a miracle, but I think that's what as a coach I'm really optimistic all the time. I'm always looking, thinking if the physios ever give me a 0.0001% chance of somebody who have Tiny's ability and who can play the game, then I'm always going to take that opportunity.
Harry Rushton's not in the squad. Is that head not giving you more cause for concern?
Yeah, look, he just can't. He obviously went through the protocols of passing his head test. He didn't pass the first section. Just basically in time to go through his return to play, you've got to go through certain steps. It's not just a case of actually passing the head test. Once you've been cleared by the doctor and actually passed the test, you've got to go through so many stages. And by the time he passed his head test, it was too late to actually complete all stages to play.
Right. So okay. And he's a miss. He's a big miss, isn't he? He's
a very big miss. He's somebody I've got. We've got a lot of faith in Harry. He can ball play as a loose forward and play in the middle section. Gives a little bit of skill to his middle, or he's an edge back row. He works extremely hard, runs a good line. He's one of the fittest in the team. So yeah, he's a big loss for us when he's not available.
Thomas Deakin's the one who's dropped out of the 21 from last week. He's been dual registered at the mighty Hunslet. What's the backstory there with him? How do you praise his sort of opportunities? Where does he get those opportunities at Huddersfield now?
Yeah, look, he's had a really, really disruptive pre-season. Really disruptive. He was injured at the start of it. He then basically just come back from injury. Then just before I went to Malaga, he had a head knock, passed it, felt okay. Then we got to Malaga and he said, "Look, I'm feeling dizzy still. It seems to be a little bit of." It's still lingering around, so we had to stand him down again, so he missed pre-season again. And then when he came back from pre-season, when he came back from Malaga after Christmas, he finally got over the head knock and then he pulled his hamstring. So it's just been a really disruptive pre-season for him. He's probably hamstringed 2 weeks together of continuous training, so he's a little bit he's just a little bit behind on every aspect really. There's no meters in his legs, there's no sort of training in his he hasn't accumulated that much training, so we just feel it's best for him to actually get some minutes under his belt. Hunslet said they need a 9. I think they lost one of their ruckers this week in the Bradford game, so it's just an opportunity for him to train and get some load into his legs and get some rugby into him, which he just hasn't had.
Just on the subject of players, I've noticed Ollie Wilson when the club mentioned it, I hadn't really noticed it because I assumed he had scored before, but it was his first professional try. It's been a long time coming. Has he been dining out on that?
Do you know what? I didn't realise anyway, so when we went through the review, we look at the things that obviously we need to work on, areas of improvement and things that we did good, and when we went through that set and the end of the set, the boys all started clapping and cheering. I couldn't understand what was going on myself, and then I think it was Tui told me afterwards that it's his actual first professional try. So yeah, I suppose that's one of the pitfalls of being a prop forward. Sometimes you don't get the glory, you don't do the pretty stuff, but he's one of our most important players. Is Ollie. I think he started the season extremely well. He's defending really tough. He's probably our best ball carrier at present. He's getting us on the front foot, so he probably just deserves getting an opportunity, a try.
So many positives at Leeds, so many positives against Warrington, and given the calibre of those two teams as well, but no points. How do you turn those narrow defeats into victories now? How do you address that?
Yeah, okay, we want to win. We're here to win games. We want to win games. We know that, with the personnel we're missing at the moment, them 2 early fixtures weren't going to be just easy wins by any stretch. Warrington, one of the best sides for the majority of last season. Lee showed when they have all the players back on the field last year. They had injuries, a bit like us really. They started the season with a lot of injuries, but when they got the players back on the field, they've got a really strong squad. And I think they've only added to that this year. They've recruited a lot of players that are young, hungry, and they're a good side. And to say that we've been in both games and probably, if we played a little different in certain areas of the game and certain times, we could have come away with the 2 points in both games, has been double-edged sword really. It's been really good. The fact we've been in games, we're obviously really disappointed we haven't managed to get 2 points. So we're taking confidence that we're building. We're taking confidence in the fact that we can actually go with teams that got in the top 6 last year. And we can actually put up a really good fight. I think it really pleasing the fact that I think hopefully the fans and people of Huddersfield can see that the players are really, really trying hard for each other, for the team, for themselves, for the fans. It's really pleasing to see. But yeah, at the same time, really disappointing that we're just not turning some of them close contests into victories.
And given how close it has been, how significant does it make this Friday's game against Hull then?
They're all big games. Every week's a big game for us. Every week's a big game, but probably a little bit more so now. If we turn one of those performances into a victory, probably wouldn't be as much. But when you 0 from 2, it makes it just a little bit more. Where it'd be nice just a bit of more of a relief than anything else. That actually the stuff that we are doing, the performances we are putting together, how hard working for each other is not in vain. So it's not do or die. I've seen a fair few posts and stuff saying it's a must-win game. It's only 3 games into the season. It's definitely not one of those. We're not at that stage of the season just yet, but it would be obviously nice to get 2 points and get some points on the board.
What's your take on Hull then?
Look, I thought they were really good against Catalans. I thought they were really good. They put a really good performance in over in the south of France. Signed a lot of new players. They've got threats. Look, Asiata, one of the best players in the competition for the last few years, so he poses a big threat to us. The backfield, they've got Rapana, Briscoe, even though he's getting on in age, has still got some of the best carries in the game, them 2 in particular. And then you've got Aiden Caesar, who's been around. He's done it at Super League level, he's done it NRL. It was the half for Canberra when they went on their big run and got to the grand final. So he's got bags of experience to seize. They've got a good side. They're a good side, and I think the first 2 games have shown. The first game, particularly against Catalan, they were really good. Wigan, they was really, really good for about 25-30 minutes against Wigan. And Wigan, coming off the back of a first round defeat, we're always going to be a tough opposition from there. Their squad's stacked with superstars, but they put up a really good performance. It was only the sort of second half that it went away from them.
When I think of Huddersfield Hull fixtures at the John Smith side, I don't know about you, but I think back to that phenomenal result in 2013, what was it, 76-18 to reach the Super League semi-finals, when you scored 4 tries.
Yeah,
what a day, what a night that was, wasn't it?
I'd not scored many tries that year, to be fair, so I would due a few. If I remember rightly, I don't think I'd scored that many, but yeah, look, it was one of those performances where everything we touched just came off and everything they touched went the other way. So it was just, yeah, we turned up primed and ready to go that day, and we sort of, from the very first minute, I think we blew them off the park. So it'd be nice if we could get a repeat of that.
I just don't see those results anymore. Just
No,
tell me Paul Anderson didn't find fault afterwards.
He probably did, somewhere along the lines, he probably did, yeah.
I just want to finally, just before I pass you over, just want to ask you about Vegas, because obviously there's a lot of focus on Vegas at the moment. What does it do for the sport, do you think? And can you see a time when Huddersfield's part of it?
I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing for the sport. Look, you're always going to get the naysayers that say keep it on the M62 corridor, let it just stay in Queensland and in Sydney. I'm a massive believer in actually growing the sport from within, in the grassroots, in the heartland clubs, but I also really like the fact that we're going global and actually pushing it everywhere else as well. I'm not just in one camp. I think both can definitely grow the sport, and look, it's the greatest sport in the world, and if we can touch 0.01% of the American population and media and sports betting companies and advertising, and I think I'm all for it. I think it's an amazing concept. I think Ken's a really big advocate of it. Ken really likes the thought of going over there. So I know it's not a pipe dream to say that Huddersfield can one day be a part of it. If you listen and talk to Ken, I think it's definitely something that I could see Huddersfield being part of if everything fell into place. I just think the concept behind it's brilliant. I think it's brilliant. I've got mates over there. It's not great for me at the moment. It's a bit like history repeating itself. When I cancelled my wedding and got picked for England in 2010, I also cancelled I didn't cancel my stag do, I didn't cancel my wedding, everyone just went without me. And my friends all went to Vegas without me, and one of my best friends, Rick, is the father to Adam Allroyd, who plays over at Warrington. So a little bit of history repeating itself. All my friends have gone over yesterday and they're already sending me pictures and videos of what's going on over there. So yeah, I'm very jealous once again.
Mate, that's brilliant. Thank you, pal. I'll pass you over. Good luck. I'll see you tomorrow. Good luck tomorrow, mate.
Thank you.
Hey Robert, how are you doing?
I'm alright, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Sorry if you've covered this already. How far off some of the injured guys like Adam Clue?
Very close. There's sort of there's rainbows and a bit of light on the horizon. That's the way I can summarise it. It feels like there's a fair bit of rain, and all of a sudden that rain just seems to be clearing up a little bit, and I can just see a little bit of sunshine, rainbows. Clooney's trained with us for the first week this week since he left and departed in September. So that's really good news that we've got one of his key halves, one of his playmakers, his organisers actually in and around the group, and he's made a massive difference to training this week. Even though he's been in limited drills and in the opposition, he's been really good, and you can really feel like he's chomping a bit to get back on board. So he potentially could be next week if all goes well. Sutcliffe is not too dissimilar. I think he might be maybe possibly the week after. Comes into contention. Halsall comes into contention the week after. Tane Mills has literally just got off the plane. The physios really need to get a grip of it, not a grip of him, but just see him where he's at with his knee before we actually probably push him this week, but he could be next week. So yeah, there's a fair few that are coming back on board. It feels a little bit like the start of the season for us, as in like a lot of them players are normally you have a full fit squad at the very start of the year, and we start to lose them around round 4, round 5, round 6, but it's probably the opposite for us.
No, sounds encouraging.
Very
Just
encouraging.
On the game tomorrow, fans might be looking at this home game against Fulham and thinking it's a very winnable game, but is it becoming harder to think like that in Super League when you look at the clubs near the bottom, all those that's it to be down there this season?
Most definitely, you've only got to look at the scorelines this year. You know, there's been 2 or 3 sort of blowouts, but every other game has been a contest, and it's been a contest up until the 70th, 75th minute. You know, even us, you know, you look at our scorelines against Warrington and you go against Lee, but them games were pretty much were nip and tuck and could have gone either way up until the 65th minute, until the last 15 minutes. They could have gone either way, and there's been a lot of scores. I really like it. I think it's been really good for the sport. Back when I were a player, you could kind of target games and we'd rest players, and someone's carrying niggle or not, you know, sometimes the lower end clubs you'd rest 2 or 3 players knowing you're probably still going to get a win. You can't do that anymore. And you know what, the way that Hull have started this year with the new influx of players that they've got, it showed that they've gone to the south of France against a really good Catalans team and beat them. That, yeah, look, they're going to be a force to reckon with this weekend.
Having said all that, these are types of games that you need to be winning if you do want to push up that table.
Every game's a game that we should be winning. I thought we put ourselves an opportunity to win Warrington. We give ourselves an opportunity to win Lee. I'm hoping that this week's no different, and we put ourselves in an opportunity to beat Hull. I just think this week, hopefully this week is one of the weeks where we can actually go that step further and be in it with 15 minutes to go, 10 minutes to go, but actually it's us coming out victorious.